it from today because I got a stain on it. Hello. Everybody out there in fun Facebook Live land, I'm here with Dan the Man, Luigs, at the insurance store. Mastermind St. Louis.
Hi, Sean.
How you doing, my man?
Great.
Is there somebody at the door?
I don't know.
This is live and impromptu, but we are going to be doing a podcast for the CCC, Connector Circles conferences, in a moment. But before we did that, I just want to kind of get some cool thoughts out because I was going to post some notes on Facebook, you know, how I take all my notes.
Yeah.
I'll post those out on the link below this post so that everybody who was at Mastermind St. Louis will see it, and they can reference all the stuff that we talked about yesterday. And they can also, for the people who weren't there or missed it, they get an idea about some of the things we talked about from the Big Leap, from you, from Brian, from everybody. So, recapping yesterday, what was one great thing you took away?
Yeah, one great thing I took away was I just loved Brian's comment. I'm sure I'll get the quote exactly not perfect, but
Right.
just having a mantra around calls. You know, granted, if it's moral and right and all those type things that he preferenced, but provided that's the case,
Yeah.
then, you know, I'll call it anybody, anytime about anything.
Right.
And to
If
me,
you can
that's
do that with confidence at a 10,
yeah.
right, then you know you're ready to make calls
Yeah,
for the
I'll
day.
call anybody, anytime about
anything. What?
Pretty simple, but so many people can't say that. And
Right.
hey, you know, hey, can you say that? And they don't sound confident. They don't, and it's like just make that a mantra for yourself for a while until you feel comfortable. And obviously, if you're learning and building yourself so you can offer more value to others,
Yeah.
then it makes that transition even easier.
Well, I always love Brian's call triangle, you know, the reasons to call.
The connection offense.
The connection, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, so you're inviting somebody to something, you know, like a mastermind event or the Connector Circle event or something, right? A game.
Yeah, leading up to yesterday, did about a month's worth of research and interviewed all kinds of people. Interviewed's maybe a strong word, but just asked them what their thoughts were on calls. And
Yeah.
it was amazing the amount of call reluctance, fear. Most people had a number of calls that they wanted to make, and most people weren't making them. Some had large goals and wouldn't do any calls because they didn't have enough time to do the whole task.
Yes.
So they shorted. Like I don't feel good moving it, but it's the first thing that gets moved off my to-do list.
Right.
So I can get the other stuff done. And, you know, think about that.
And we lose some of that connection. We forget to keep it in. And it's just that daily practice, whether it be diet, exercise, calls, connecting with people in our database, whatever it
And
is.
if we're not connecting on a regular basis, then you get the
Right.
fluctuation and, gosh, I'm really slow right now. I better make some calls.
Right.
Where you could just have a consistent business all the time if you can constantly connect with people. And the easiest way is by calling them.
And what do you like to do, Dan? Is it you follow Brian's 5 to Thrive? Or what did Meredith say? 3 and... What'd she say?
Yeah, I was going to say three to five. Yeah,
Yeah.
Three for me, 5 to thrive.
3 for me. That's great.
I just know my one thing is I have to call people every day.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't really care about the number, but yeah, 3 is my minimum number.
Yeah.
And I've got to find a way to give value to them. And then, you know, the person that receives the phone call is the one that grades on value. So hopefully I've got a good idea of what would be valuable to them, but they're the one that grades it.
Yes.
They're the one that chooses to answer the phone, return the phone call. It's not up to me. And
Right.
when you make enough calls and contact enough people that are important to you, you'll figure out who you should be spending your time with, and if you want to spend time with them, you know, so it's a decision on both parties' parts if you want to
Right.
build a relationship or not. Some people you find out pretty quickly. Not this one.
Yeah. And that's okay.
That's great.
That's
Yeah.
what you want. That's what you're looking
saves
for.
you time so you can build another relationship.
Right. Focus on... I just got a message from Snars that gives you know, and it goes back to his fundamental thing of do what you do best, and what we say at Medici is delegate the rest. And, you know, in his world, you certainly want to play into your personality type.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I do. That's what you do. I'm doing this right now on my Facebook Live stuff and my podcast stuff. and then I know that it's like, wow, if I keep doing more of these things and share more of those things that are authentically me, that'll make a difference for whoever's on the other line.
And you'll attract the right people for you.
Always. And it's fun stuff. The other thing I would say I took away from Mastermind St. Louis yesterday was another person who texted me back, was Nick Gargiula, Dr. G's son, right?
Yeah.
But he shared with me while we were there, he's like, I did this deal, and we were in a pretty, it was a tough situation. Like, they actually had a legal issue with a couple of people. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't, wow, that's... He's like, it's. I don't think I'm their favorite person right now. Like, I get it, but I think after looking at some of the things and the distinctions out of the book and just being in the space yesterday, he actually called and met with that very same person he was talking about and cleared the space. I thought that was huge. I mean, if you can do that, you're not going to really have too much call reluctance for anything, and he's a pretty high energy guy anyway. But that was just one of those things. It's like, what's your upper limit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom. Let's get that out of the way so that we have a new upper limit. Love it.
Yeah, and with your point, The Big Leap, incredible book. The people that I'm working with in the Accelerate Mastermind group, I can't tell you how much they love this book and are seeing their upper limit increase. There's a question in that book, how much happiness are you willing to accept in your life?
Yeah.
And everybody answers it very quickly. As much as I can have, as much as I can have.
Right.
And it's funny, I don't say anything, and they pause and think for a little bit, and they go, oh my gosh, actually that wasn't true.
Right.
Actually, I do have a limit, and I always bring myself back. Why did you ask me that question?
Yes.
Why did I answer it with a standard answer?
Yes.
I haven't asked anybody that question yet that said, as much as I want.
Right.
And I just pause and wait. There hasn't been anybody that go, yeah, I'm, as happy as I possibly could be. No, they realize that there's limits that they have.
Right.
And, when you study happiness and stuff, it's funny. They say you've got to expand the limits. You've got to actually work to be happy. And you don't really have to work to be negative. You don't have to work to be unhappy. That'll just happen on its own if you let it.
I wake up pretty negative almost every day.
No, you don't.
I do too. I do. Ask my wife. I should have tagged her. She'd be, yes. She might do her own live video just to say that. She is an introvert. But, yeah, so she's like, it's like, you're kind of off your routine. You've been a little bit sick, under the weather, flu's going around and whatnot. And she's like, just get up early and go for your walk. Get your steps in. Get your routine back.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you do your morning routine.
Right, and my morning routine has been off, so.
When your morning routine's off, I could see you being grumpy.
Sean Brady's off all day when my morning routine is off.
Me too.
Miracle morning, right?
Me too.
All right, so what we're going to do is get ready for our podcast for the CCC, Connector Circle Conference here.
Hi, Angie.
Hello. Angie Kitco. She was there yesterday.
Dial with a smile. You got it.
Dial with a smile. And we are going to get ready here for the CCC Connector Circle Conference. I say that for myself so I remember which podcast I'm doing.
Yeah.
We're doing a few of these days. All right, here we go. Hello. Sean Brady here with another fabulous interview with Dan the Man Luigs and this one specifically for the Connector Circle Conferences. Dan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Really excited for the conference coming up.
Yeah, we all are, and it's coming up on February 2nd, and just around the corner here in St. Louis. And you're going to be one of the moderators.
Yeah,
and one of the people doing it, could kind of directing the day. But I always love to ask people who are on the panels and the keynotes and everybody there is, what does Connector Circle, first of all, what does it mean to you? Like, why Connector Circle conferences over all these other things that are going on?
For me, it's how to help people be comfortable in that environment and be profitable and to have better lives, well-rounded lives where they increase their own happiness.
Yeah.
The happier we can become ourselves, the more we can share that with others. And if you can be profitable and be happy and be moral and all those type of different things, I think that's what everybody wants but doesn't necessarily realize it. Some of the things from the maybe 80s, profit and greed and mess people
Greed is
over.
good.
Yeah, all that. And
Wall Street.
I don't think anybody
Gordon
really
Gekko. No.
really wants any of that these days, and maybe that's still kind of a cloud in our St. Louis business culture, or maybe nationwide. And I'd like to be an agent of change and help that change.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of things where a lot of people still may want some of the material things, but they don't want all the strife that goes with it. All the negativity, it's like, cutthroatness and, side dealings, all this bad stuff that is just, it truly is negative, and it really brings the whole environment down. So, happiness, very big underlying thing. Now, for the Connector Circle Conference specifically, and I've asked this question of everybody, what are three things that are pet peeves of yours that I know will get addressed in the Connector Circle Conference here? But what are three things around networking specifically that, man, I wish people just did this? It'd make their networking lives so much better.
Yeah. I call them keyboard warriors. So they try to develop the relationship through a keyboard. Phone, computer, Facebook, text message. And they never use the phone. They never use, I don't want to say never use one-to-one meetings, but it's a last resort. Or it's a, hey, I'd love to meet with you one-to-one, love to learn about your business. Let's do that someday.
Yeah.
And like they never actually want to meet.
Right.
So it's...
And it never happens.
Yeah, so that this doesn't build relationships. It can help support, but it's not what brings you together so you can both help each other. So that's the biggest.
That's the big one.
That's the biggest one.
How about a couple more for people out there that they could take away and it's like, wow, yeah, I never thought of it that way. What else was it?
Yeah, so I guess the second biggest one is, in my opinion, why people use the keyboard and stuff. They want to save time, but they primarily are fearful of something. I'm fearful to get in a real relationship. I'm fearful to engage. I'm fearful that I'm not worthy to engage this person. I'm taking their time.
Right.
And when you're focused on helping the other person, like, of course they want to connect and see how they can be helped, if not help also back.
Yes.
Typically there's reciprocity there, and givers, takers, matchers. Most people are either matchers or givers.
Yes.
So, invest in the relationship, and why have a fear if you're truly there to help others?
Right.
And then the third is understand who can also help you. So having goals would be the third thing. When you have real goals and action steps and have people around you, coaches or accountability partners or people, mentors, can help you formulate your goals and your action steps. So as you're networking or building relationships, I personally don't like networking. I like building relationships.
Yeah.
So change that culture a little bit to understand giving, finding people who want to help you with your goals, and at the same time you want to help them with their goals, who are in a position to help you with your goals. So, it just seems you raise the people around you, and you raise